Now, how do we do that? We do that by having a to-do list. And I want to show you a really good to-do list. This is what I call a good one. This is a good to-do list. What do you think of it? And people always laugh. What's funny about it? It's a good to-do list. And the reason I call it a good to-do list is because statistically speaking, half of you don't have one. And if half of you in this room don't have a to-do list that starts your day off, there's a really good chance that your day is going to end up somewhere else. And so you start your day off with a to-do list, and if you don't have any to-do list, this is better than nothing. This is better than the guy's office I walked into that uses a pad of Post-it notes on a daily basis to stick everywhere around the office to remember what to do and when to do it. And I still don't know the madness behind what order and how you start them first. I see some laughing going on in the back table. I see finger pointing going on in the back table. How do you prioritize these? You can. It's hard to sit there and prioritize Post-it notes. It's hard to prioritize thoughts in your mind. And so you want to have a more organized to-do list. So we'll say that was a good to-do list. This is a better to-do list. One where we can actually document, here's what I'm going to do today. And I like to do this the night before. I like to sit down for 10, 20 minutes the night before. And I like to do it before I leave the office because I hate getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning with that nagging thought of, oh, I got to call Doug tomorrow. I never wrote it down, and my brain is going to constantly remind me, and it reminds me at the worst possible times. And so at 2 o'clock in the morning, it tries to remind me to call Doug. And so I want to write it all down. I want to get it all out of my mind. I call it a brain dump. If anybody's read time management books, Getting It Done is one of my favorite time management books. And the author talks about doing a brain dump, getting it all out on paper, getting it out of your mind so that you don't have those nagging reminders all day or all night. So we write down what we're doing. We write down how much effort it's going to take. A, B, or C. Is it a golf ball? Is it a pebble? Or is it sand? And then I can sit down and truly spend the time in my day where it needs to get spent. So that I'm not calling home at 6:30 every night going, hey babe, I'm going to be late again. Sorry, I'm going to miss dinner. I don't want to do that. Why? Because the golf balls are more important than anything else that's happening. And if I didn't do the golf balls first, work-related, then I find myself letting sand overtake my life. And so I've got a to-do list that helps keep me focused. Now some of us have a hard time even staying focused with a to-do list. Why is that? I do expense reports on a monthly basis. Anybody have to do that? And in our office I've got to take down all my receipts and I have to categorize where I spent all my money. Anybody do that on a monthly basis? How long does it take you to do your expenses? About. If you could just sit down and get them done, how long would it take? Anybody? Say 1 hour. If I could just sit down and do it, it would take me an hour. And you know it's the middle of the month and I want to get it done, so I'm going to get it done right now today. It's on my list for today, and so you go into the office and you start working on it. And there's always that one receipt that's missing. So I got to go hop online to go print it. You do this? And you ever done this? You go online, and as soon as I go online, you know what my homepage looks like? It's got my stocks. It's got my fantasy football stuff. It's got all the headlines of the day. And the next thing you know, I just spent 25 minutes doing something I wasn't supposed to do. And I go, what am I doing? I got to get back to my expense report. Close down the internet, only to get back to realize I needed to get back and go print that receipt. Then the phone rang, and I take that, and then I go launch into email because I got 3 emails in. Let me go see who emailed me. And the next thing you know, it's 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I never did my expense report, and I'm calling home to my wife saying, sorry, I'm going to miss dinner again. You got to learn to focus. This is a technique I use with my kids. I call it the sting technique. And what you do when you sting is a real simple thing that I do with my kids. I say, we are going to lock down your time for 30 minutes or an hour. I know I'm a bad multitasker. We all fall into that trap, and studies have shown us that when you're juggling too many things at once, you can't get one thing finished. when I watch my 13-year-old son do homework. He's got his phone out. He's got his iTouch out. He's got his laptop booted up. And he's trying to read and do homework. He's got 3 conversations going between his text and between his Facebook friends. He's over here playing a game on his iTouch, and he's sitting here telling me he's reading and studying. That's not focus. I think we have forgotten how to focus. And so we do this little thing called Sting, and I say, select one thing. And I'm really working with them. I said, nothing else. There's no distractions. And for some of you, it's going to sound scary. I shut my email down when I Sting my time. I don't want that distraction of ding, and I want to go see who it is. So I shut it down. I time myself. I say, you know what, it's going to take me an hour to get this done. I'm going to focus for 1 hour. I'm going to ignore everything else. I'm not going to take any breaks. I say no breaks, no excuses, because for some reason it's like, okay, I'm ready to get started. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee real quick. Let me just top off my coffee before I get started. Or halfway through. Or, you know, I got to run to the restroom just really quick and I'll be right back. And no breaks, no excuses. There's no reason not to finish this 1 hour task. There's nothing in my life that's not an emergency that couldn't wait for 1 hour. And then when it's all said and done, we run to the mall and we celebrate at Macy's. We give ourselves a reward. What do I mean by that? If I truly were to focus on my expense report, I know we said an hour, but I bet you I could get it done in 45 minutes if I wasn't distracted. Bet you I could finish it in 30. And I give myself permission to go do some sand because I finished one of my golf balls. And so then I'll go and have some Facebook time. Then I'll go and do some fantasy football research. And Russ Bowles knows that I do a lot of fantasy football research.
But you're still not good.
3 times 10. 3 times 10. And so there's time for those other things when you have everything in the right priorities. And so we need to make sure that we've got priorities. Now, even though we might have these great lists and we're focused and we're doing all these things, we are going to hit bumps in the road along the way.